Delicate getting the first pick. Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Void Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It's Discord tier finals time. It's Overwatch Tranquility coming at you guys. My name is Dor. You know me, but I am joined by the always lovely Harmony Giant. Giant, how you feeling tonight, man?
Oh, I'm excited. We got the Transcendence tier finals in the preseason tournament. It's going to be a blast. It's insane the matchup we have tonight.
I mean, I'm looking at it, Godhand versus Ghostly Pepper. Just be our tour guide through these rosters right now, Harmony. I need a nice straw. I need you to point out all the sites to see because, my God, there's a lot of them.
Oh, man. Let's start off with Godhand, or GDH apparently is what they want to be called. I'm not going to comment on why that's what their thing is, but that's what it is. Starting off in the tank line, we have My Big Marf and Andy. I mean, we have a couple of vets there. We have Mini and Pyro on DPS. Actually, tonight, I believe we have Mini and Rocket on DPS. And for the support line, we have Ice and Boredom. I mean, what else can you say? You have tons of vets, tons of Season 3 MVPs and champs. You have a bunch of Season 4 All-Stars. I mean, it's unreal just on Godhand. But, I mean, do you want to talk about Ghostly Peppers? Because they have a pedigree as well.
I absolutely would love to. We have numero uno Void Kit on the DPS. Season 4 MVP. You know what this man can do on literally any hero you give him. Champion for last season, looking to bring it back for this one as well. HQC lining up on tank right up next to Telmakin. A very, very strong tank lineup full of Tranquility veterans. And then on the support lineup, Queen Needle lining up with Smirk. You guys know the copy pastas. I expect them to be coming out in full force if you want Ghostly Peppers to win. Let's look at both of these, though. I mean, I can't give an advantage to either side, Harmony. I don't think you can much either, but are there any players here who you think can make a real difference, even in a lobby this stacked?
I'm going to have to say, I think a player that's going to make a huge difference is Rocket on DPS. I mean, he's climbed. His work ethic is insane. He's a champion from last season and an all-star from last season. I mean, your DPS line's got to be strong, and I think Rocket can bring it.
Yeah, you know what my favorite part about this is, too? Is that so many of these players are Tranquility veterans, and what that shows us is how Tranquility helps people improve. I mean, last season, a lot of the Harmony players moved up to Discord. This season, especially with the Transcendent tier changes, I feel like they've been especially good for allowing those Discord tier players to have somewhere to move up and still have that community that Tranquility offers. And I mean, it proves it here. These players improve. Look at Needle. I mean, was a Season 3 champion for Harmony. Now you're playing in Transcendence tier, capping out at like 3,900 SR. I mean, it's insane the improvement we see out of these players. But you know what? It all comes down to this. We're starting off on Oasis.
Yeah, Oasis is going to be a fun match to see. I expect both of them to try and bring something tricky out of their kits. It seems like you have a kind of a double shield meta, but the DPS is kind of different. So I'm excited to see how the Reaper is going to go against an Echo and a McCree on the side of Ghostly Peppers.
Well, I mean, what I'm surprised to see is the Echo of Void Kit, but Ming God is one player to watch on the McCree. There's a very big difference in these DPS lines, whereas Ghostly Peppers have so much sustain. It's going to be the burst from Godhand, and they're not going to be finding much of it. Marf lands a charge down on the opposing man tank. HQC in a little bit of trouble, but a great immortality field from Ferk keeps him alive, allows him to take down Marf, and with that, the whole castle falls for Godhand.
Yeah, you can see right there, Ghostly Peppers came in strong. They came in with whatever force they had. And I mean, we talked about the Echo being something different, but Void Kit did a lot of work there. Mean God wasn't to be outdone either. That McCree was clutch getting a few kills in that fight.
Well, they're going to need a few more here. They're definitely not out of the woods. HQC's coming up on the Shatter, and that's about the only ultimate online here. Marth needs to be extremely careful. He should know, though. Great combo with the halt, uppercut, the fire strike, all the damage, too much to handle. The Shatter won't even connect from Marth, but he doesn't need it to, as the point should begin ticking over for Godhand here in just a moment.
Yeah, you can see right there that they used their ult well. Marth combo with that Shatter, got a lot of damage out, getting rid of everyone as possibly can. They're going to come in with Echo Ultimate. They're going to come in with Window. So you kind of have to play it smart. You really don't have anything to defend against it. And you're still a little bit far away from Blossom. So I think Ghostly Peppers needs to come in strong, engage where they can. I expect Min God to try and do something sneaky and pull around to pull off a very, very clutch high noon.
They need unbridled aggression here. They also have the option of the Amp Matrix Fire Strike combo, which is extremely deadly. They're getting comboed in their own right, though, as the Grid of Flux goes up. Godhand in a little bit of trouble here, but it's Rocket finding the backline, taking down Smirk. No main heals left here for Ghostly Peppers. They need to win this fight now, or else they're just going to slowly bleed out to the bonus healing of Godhand.
Yeah, I mean, Godhand came in strong. They countered what they had. I mean, Ghostly Peppers had what they could use right there. They're going to come in with 2 support ults. I expect Needle to use an early rally, trying to get engaged in, try and let HQC, sorry, not XQC, HQC, build that ultimate, trying to get a Shatter off. But you're going to have Shatter coming in on the side of Godhand. You're going to have Bongo with that ult. You're going to have Blossom. You have a lot of power coming on the side of Godhand, and not a lot of defense going on the side of Ghostly Peppers.
Well, there's that Amp Matrix Fire Strike combo we were calling earlier. Rocket straight into the backline. You mentioned being a difference maker. He's winning this one single-handedly right now for Godhand. Straight into the backline, always getting a pick and always ending things early.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say right there? Rocket came in, did what they needed to do. Mini didn't step back either. That Reaper was clutch. You're gonna have, I mean, you're gonna have Shatter, which I expect Marth to do something crazy with.
Harmony.
Oh no!
They don't know! They don't know! They don't know! Oh, we lost it anyway! HQC's got the game sense of a tranquility god. Man, trying to clean things up here, but he can't find all that much. Rocket again in the backline though. Catches through 3 to trade out. No ultimate required. Godhand holding on to the point. It's final fight territory, and it's not looking good for Ghostly Peppers on map 1.
Not at all. I mean, what Mini couldn't get done with Blossom, Rocket came in and cleaned him up with Meteor and just anything and everything he possibly could bring. I mean, what a performance there by Godhand. They brought it in early, they brought it in fast, and they kept the pace going.
You know, Harmony, I'm starting to realize why we brought you on as the analyst. I could have just listened to you. It was the Rocket show the entire time. It was all about the Doomfist. The Halt combos were nice. They pulled off the things they were supposed to. But this guy was doing it. Sans teammate. He was just in the backline destroying people. Smirk and Needle, I think, need to be very, very careful about where they move. And they need some help from their tanks as well to keep them up.
Yeah, they really do. Smirk and Needle need to, figure things out. I think they're doing a pretty good job. I think if Needle, especially looking at the lineups you have right now, if you can get off a couple good stuns off the Genji and off the Doomfist, they're going to become less and less of a problem going into these next couple of fights.
Still going to be a problem for the time being, but let's look at the composition that we're seeing locked in right now. Ghostly Peppers going with something a little bit more meta into map 2, which makes sense. You want to kind of avoid that brawl. The Reinhardt's not nearly as effective in guard, and swapping over to Sigma's going to allow them to hold on to the high ground. We'll see them wrap all the way through past the mini pack, take high ground, and try and control it from there. Godhand, though, are running effectively the counter to that strategy. They've locked in a Winston Orisa to try and set up on the point, the Winston to try and poke people down off the high ground. What I don't like here from Godhand, though, is the Genji Doomfist. 2 heroes that we don't see often together, and for good reason. They're kind of at odds. Genji's one job, especially in double shield, is to dash through and try and finish off kills, finish off the damage that everybody else did. Rocket's one job on Doomfist is to one-shot everything so that there doesn't have to be follow-up damage. So these 2 heroes are at odds, and the only way this is going to work is if Mini and Rocket pop off individually, which is a lot to ask for, but it's already happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that Rocket and Mini can do what they need to get done. They have a lot of counters. They could get flashbanged. They could get stunned by Briggs. So it's going to be interesting to see how they combo up against this. I have faith that they'll do something crazy. But, I mean, that Genji the Genji Doomfist combination should be interesting to watch going into this next series. I mean, I trust him to do something. I'm surprised to see no Ashe play with her being so strong with the Orisa, but I mean, I'm only a silver, so what do I know coming into watching Trans tier?
We'll see how this Genji Doomfist works out. A lot of it is reliant on the Genji being able to do things on and over, with the Pharah being in the sky and Rocket doing goddamn rocket things. What do you even do if you're Ghostly Peppers?
I mean, we talked about how they needed to pop off individually, and Rocket said, got it, I can do that. And Rocket and Mini just cleaned up everything right there. You have the Pharmacy watching out. You don't have a hit scan, so you have to be wary of that. But it didn't seem like a problem at all for the side of Godhand. I mean, they took what they could, and they ran with it.
Well, with Marth getting caught with his pants down, that opens the doors for a lot of things. There's no bubble to stop this far. There's no real reprieve from the Rockets, and nobody on the side of Godhand is really going to be able to deal with this. The concussion fast is just going to be able to knock him off the high ground. The Orisa forced to drop down. Ghostly Peppers, they've made the space, but they've lost Smirk on their way in, and now they're going to have a Winston calmly walk up to their back line, say, hello, would you like a little bit of electricity, and proudly give it to him.
Wow. I mean, it looked a little bleak there for the side of Godhand, but they're like, no, we got this. We have Winston ult. We're going to have Genji Blade. We're going to have Window. I mean, you can only really hope that you build up High Noon and Barrage. You don't really have anything to combo with it, so you got to be careful. I mean, the DPS on the side of Ghostly Peppers needs to figure something out, get a couple picks here and there, or it's just going to be the same story all night long.
Well, they've got one more fight here to turn around before I'll call it real dire straits here on Guns. Oh, God. Oh, God, Rocket. The Observer. Booth already knows what this man's about to do to their back line. Ming has no idea what's coming for him. The flashbang just in time. Barrage from Void Kid trying to clean things up. Will take down Boredom. The Resurrect goes through. Queen Needle barely able to stay alive here, but with HCC falling, there's not much for Ghostly Peppers to be hiding behind. They need to end this fight and end it soon before this point ticks over too far.
Yeah, you can see right there, they had a good set of ultimate combinations, but, I mean, Mini doesn't go down without getting someone along with him. Smirk goes down to that, and, I mean, now you have to look at it and see, you have Genji Blade, you have Meteor Strike, you're gonna have Bongo to combo with it if you choose to do so.
Oh, he's going for the farmer. See, he really thinks he can do this. 30 HP. Okay. Rocket, I respect the cojones. Like, you got some giblets on you, but that doesn't mean it's gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, that was a risky move, but you got to risk it to try something new. You're going to have Bongo Blade coming on the side of GDH, which is a huge ultimate to have, but you have to watch out for Ghostly Peppers, Bongo. They're going to have Gravitic Flux. You're going to have some combos there. They're going to have Valk. You're going to have both support ults astically, so watch out for this.
Yeah, and this is a very aggressive push from Ghostly Peppers. They're willing themselves into this ball competition. This is not a good decision. They had high ground. They had everything they wanted to work with. Godhand had to come to them, but no. They threw themselves into the open arms of Rocket, who gladly took them down one player at a time, and off some great tank play as well from Marth and Andy. They're going to take that point back over.
Yeah, I mean, that was very strong ult combinations there by the side of GDH. But, I mean, Ghostly Peppers just has 4 ults, 5 ults going in, and you really can only counter with Rally. I mean, I expect something big to combo here. I expect a Bongo Barrage, a Bongo High Noon, maybe with a Gravitic Flux. It's going to be insane, the ult combos you're going to see in this next fight.
Oh, and what a halt from HQC brings him down and into the damage, welcoming into Void Kid's arms. The Barrage doesn't get anything, but it does get a lot of damage with Marth going down so low in this fight. Rocket going down as well. It's not looking pretty here for Godhand, but Ghostly Peppers, they've had to use everything in the tank just to do this.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostly Peppers is throwing everything they can at him, and they're still not all going down.
Is Mini actually going to clean up this whole fight? No way. No way, he's going to do it! The accretion's there. He's got a Dragon Blade online. He's done it! Oh my god, Harmony! One man, one Genji, one Ninja wins them one more map and sends them over to the second.
I mean, you can't ask for more coming out of your Genji right there. That just shows how strong Genji is right now. If you don't have one, you need one. And that proves it right there. Oh my god. What a play.
I mean, I need to see this. This has to, yeah, it's the overtime. Oh, he's in the back line. He's found everybody. Main God, he's taking down the, oh my god! What's wrong with you, Mini?
Wow. I mean, that's, you love to see it. You love to not be a part of it. That's what I like to say. That is, wow, that is unreal by the side of Mini. I mean, I don't doubt that man's Genji one bit after that fight. Now you have to counter against that. Now after seeing all that play, now you have to get mini dead in each fight if you're at the side of Ghostly Peppers, or anything can happen.
I mean, you're in one of these matchups. You're Ghostly Peppers right now. You look at the roster. Okay, we had a couple rough fights in the tank line, so we need to be focusing on winning that. Our supports are dying early, so we do need to be focusing on our supports as well, making sure they're staying alive. But oh yeah, don't forget our DPS are getting rockets constantly deflected at them, so we have to do that. There's so much to think about, so much to fix going into the second match, and I feel like it isn't necessarily a team play thing that we're seeing Ghostly Peppers do wrong so much as it is just kind of a lack of identifying their win condition. They're not going for the same thing in fights, so getting split apart, especially by heroes like Genji, like Doomfist. They prey on teams that aren't staying together, especially when you're playing on the double shield. I mean, we saw Ghostly Peppers give up the high ground multiple times, which, I mean, double shield and dive, that's just the wrong move outright. They had every advantage they could have wanted, but they kind of tossed it by the wayside. And then you throw in the fight where they had to use 5 ultimates to clean things up. And I think a lot of Ghostly Peppers' issues just come down to coordination.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not to say they aren't good players, like we said, but it was, I mean, coordination there. If you have to use all 5 ults and not kill every single person on the enemy team, there's something going wrong right there. And I think it's just a miscommunication. I think they're just trying to get used to going against Godhand. Godhand has some heavy hitters, and I think it's just kind of like, okay, we got a map against them. Going into this next map, you have to understand what you're going up against now. They're not going to stand idly by and just be like, oh, it's just a bunch of vets having fun. It's like, we are here to fight and win. And I think Godhand has some confidence going into this next fight, knowing, okay, we can lean on some people. We know what we're kind of doing now. Let's see if we can switch things up or keep things the same and force Ghostly Peppers to have to counter them, which I expect them to do. I expect Godhand to come in and go, here's what we got. Here's what you know we're going to do. Try and counter it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these players in this lobby are very used to being one of 1 or 2 players that we see, oh man, that name, that's somebody to look out for. Literally every player here is somebody to look out for. So these players, once again, I mean, it's like you're new in Tranquility. You have to make a name for yourself. You don't just stand out for being you anymore in this kind of lobby. And I think Mini and Rocket understand that right now. Ghostly Peppers are waiting for that one player to pop off. They need the one difference maker. I gotta ask you, Harmony, if it's anybody on this team, who do you think it is and who do you think it needs to be?
Who I think it is on Ghostly Peppers that needs to pop off? Or is and needs
Absolutely.
to be? Oh man, I think if anything, I think your tank line, I think HQC needs to pop off. I think you need to have a strong tank line going against the supports against this. Maybe your supports as well. Because if your supports go down early, that fight's over. And it seems like Godhand knows exactly what they need to do, especially when they're playing these Genji Doomfist, now Genji Ashe compositions. So I think first your tank line, probably HQC. Second, either Smirk or Needle need to keep it going and keep it strong.
Well, they've gone with the TV play, and the Brawl competition gets in for free here. Yes, you eat a Dynamite. You're pretty okay with that. You're getting zapped down. Your Immortality Field's already out, though. Smirk's used all of his resources in this fight. If they can't start finding picks here and now, this fight only gets worse for Ghostly Peppers. They're beginning to take over, nearly get one. Marv beautifully poking at the side, but the Reaper of Mingon makes it incredibly hard for him to actually do anything. HUC goes in way too deep with pants way too large, and Godhand's going to punish him for it. Take out the main tank, take down the push. And that difference maker that you wanted is not quite there yet, Harmony.
No, not quite there, but you do have Shatter coming into the next fight. They switch off the Symmetra, realize it didn't work. They're going to have Window coming in, so you could do Fire Strike Window, get some good combinations there. But I mean, look at the ults on the side of Godhand. You're going to have Blade. You're going to have Enrage. You're going to have Bob. You're going to have Window. You're going to have Rally. I mean, Godhand has everything to counter and to attack you. You have to play the long con to play the smart game if you're Ghostly Peppers.
Well, there's nothing long con about this. Dropping both amplification matrices is just a game of chicken. Who wants a little bit? It seems like Godhand are open to the challenge, but not welcome to take the damage. They lose 1, 2, 3 players now with Marv gone. There's not much of a tank lineup in the way. Just make it through Annie, and you're feeling pretty good. Great deflect by Rocket onto the flashbang. Takes one down. Godhand are doing what Godhand do best, finding their way into a fight that seemed unwinnable. Mini's cleaning up on a hit scan now. He's done it on literally every DPS role. Only a couple players remaining here for Ghostly Peppers, but they also have the respawns going for him as the Winston comes in. The Orisa is here, and the Cavalry have arrived for Godhand.
Yeah, Godhand would not give up. They would not go silently. They're going to keep fighting. They're going to keep putting pressure on you. Ghostly Peppers use as many resources as they possibly could. God Hand used as many ults as they possibly could. So it's kind of a reset right now. You have bongos on the side of God Hand, so you can use that to your advantage. You have to watch out for the Blossom. So I think right now God Hand has an advantage. They kind of got a little overwhelmed in that last fight. I'm not going to, take away that from Ghostly Peppers. They got to tick off. They're figuring things out, but I mean, you have to replicate that going into each and every fight. I think with the use of bongos, especially with Bongo Bob, you're going to see a lot more damage come through.
Yeah, dropping that Bongo, just waiting for the Bob to come online. Mini might not even have to use it here. The Death Blossom from the main god completely whiffs. Marf's cleaning up on the Winston, and again, there's not enough focus from Ghostly Peppers right now.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to see it on the side of Ghostly Peppers. They're a strong team. They need to take a breath. They still have a minute. They have a couple ults. You have window to do some damage early on. You can put the pressure on with the Lucio. You have High Noon if you really need to do some sneakiness if you're Void. But you're going against the Bob. You're going against the Blade. You're going against the window. They might have Rally on in this fight. So, I mean, it's a lot. You're down a lot right now, but you have to play smart. And if you don't, then this is a lost map. At least the lost first point.
The Ant Matrix Fire Strike connects, though. That is huge. Take down Ice. There's no main heals in the way. As long as you don't die to Rocket, and that's one way of taking him out. You should be able to push this point. I want to see them take care of Mini. Right here, right now. It's been the problem player for them the entire night. You're losing players slowly. You've taken out the tank line. Mini doesn't really have any sight lines to work with here, but it's bad that I don't doubt that Mini might be able to pull this one out on his own.
I know. You want Mini to do a thing. Oh, HQC. Oh, no.
I don't even mind that. I was still scared for their life. They were 6v1, and I'm just like, Mini could do this.
They can pull it off. Oh,
yeah,
no.
You better shatter that Ash.
Oh, no. I mean, you don't have Shatter now. You have Bongo, but oh, my God.
Oh, my God! The deflected fire strikes through amplification matrix from Rocket, catches 3. He gets a 4th to clean things up. This guy's just a walking highlight for real, Harmony.
Oh my God! I mean, could not be any more perfect timing there on the side of Rocket with the kills with the fire strike. Oh no! Oh, that's gotta hurt if you're Ghostly Peppers. Oh man! Now you have to watch out for Blade. You have to watch out for Rally. You have to watch out for Bongos and Enrage. I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, you gotta breathe for a second. What is Marf doing?
Maybe offering up a surrender, a treaty, maybe. I'm not sure. He's made his way back around. You can't rely on those plays every time, or at least that's what we've been thinking. Rocket comes in, swipes through Immortality Field and Soundberry, keeping him alive for the time being, though. Tries to find a little bit of Ghostly Pepper Sashimi, but not able to do so as they've been bonked away by Marf and a beautiful Primal Range, might I add.
Yeah, I mean, Marf is doing a phenomenal job on Winston. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Rocket and a lot about Mini, but Marf has been doing some serious cleanup damage on Winston. I mean, he's been getting a few kills in each and every fight. He's nothing to scoff at playing that Winston role. And I mean, you got to give it to him. You have, I mean, while Mini and Rocket are the two-man team going into this, I mean, you got to watch out for Marf going into this. But now you have Bob. You can do so much with all these ults. You're building ults on the side of Ghostly Peppers, so they're trying to do something crazy. Maybe see a Shatter Blossom combo if they can get to it early on in this fight, but they got to be smart.
Oh, not when Mini's landed dynamites like those. It's just all over. He finds 3. They're fighting for play of. They're not fighting the other team. They're fighting each other for play of the game. Like it's. There is no contesting from Ghostly Peppers right now, and this is a team that we know they can.
Yeah, I mean they're a strong team. They need to have some sort of unity. They have a minute left. They have about 1, maybe 2 fights, depending on how quick Rocket and Mini take them out. You're gonna have Shatter. You're gonna have Blossom. You gotta put something together real quick here. I mean, HQC has to have a huge Shatter going into this fight. Without that, it's gonna be a long day.
Well, it's already a long day at the Ops here. 53 seconds remaining on the clock. It's getting tight here for Ghostly Peppers. Taking down Martha. Shatter doesn't find anything, but the Death Blossom will. Bingot finally able to connect with that key ultimate, but they haven't cleaned anything up while Rocket's still alive, gets 2 with the Blade, and opens the door for Godhand to come back in and try and contest this point.
Yeah, I mean, Rocket is a force to be reckoned with, and then when Rocket's not there, Mini's happy to clean everything else up. Basically not missing a shot. I don't understand how you play Ash side effectively. I can't wait to watch more of it happen. But Mini is a presence to be with. You're going to have Enraged by Marf. I mean, you have Bongo, you have Window. You have to come in and do something crazy. If you can even touch point. I mean, they have to get moving now or this map is over. Yeah, they got to go. I don't know why they're holding off. They have 10 seconds to hold on. They got him.
And they're not going main either. They're going to have the Reaper teleport on the point. Did he teleport correctly? Okay, he did. He jumps to get the sightline just in time, speeding onto the point here. The halt catches everybody back into the dynamite. They are going to be blocking it this time, though. The primal rage from Marth looks to be just as big less, knocking everybody back down into the pit here. Good high noon, though. Going to be giving them the space they need to work with the disengage. Let those health bars come back up. Go for it, re-engage. 2 takes over, nearly a third. Is there a C9? Oh my god, that is close, and it is! They've done it, snatched from the jaws of defeat. How on earth did Ghosty Peppers get away with that?
I don't. Oh my gosh. I mean, you had Rocket right there. Rocket could have just walked on point. What was going on? Oh my. Wow. I mean, if you're Godhand, you gotta come back from that some way, somehow. I don't know what they were thinking. They may be laughing about it. They may be confused, but oh my.
I think it's going to their heads. I think they're feeling a little bit too godlike. Like, yeah, our players are invincible. We'll just throw one on the point. We'll be fine. You know, hey, when was the last time they even lost a player? That it doesn't exist to them. It's not, death is not a concept that they understand right now.
No, not even a little bit. And when they do, they just walk back to point like it's no big deal. But oh man, if you're Ghostly Peppers, I don't know what. I mean, you must have had a lucky horseshoe somewhere, because that was unreal to come back from that and get that second point. I mean, but now you got to contest, and now you got to hold off to it, which is this presence that is Godhand coming in with the double shield. Pretty standard meta you see right now. I mean, they're gonna walk in and try and take it, and I don't expect anything else coming from them. Walking in if you're Godhand. I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, the May's an interesting pick. I see how it should work. You have the May McCree. I like what you're thinking there. It should be interesting to see. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how Ghostly Peppers takes their newfound confidence and walks in and tries to contest this force that is Godhand.
Yeah, the big pick I'm looking at right now is the fact that Voidkit's over on the McCree. Effectively a signature hero for this man. He made his name, cut his teeth on the 6-shooter himself. But what they have now is HQC with space. This Reinhardt no longer has to move forward, no longer has to risk dialing, no longer has to risk eating a ton of heals, not to mention the fact that he has Mingod, who's constantly going to be slowing down the opposing team's push whenever they try to go in. That is if they don't get picked off early here. Need to be very careful. With a lot of damage being thrown down the main choke here. But the kills are looking like they're about to head towards Godhand as the immortality field's been forced out. Smirk goes down, and Ghostly Peppers have to find an early fight win right here, right now, before they get picked apart.
Yeah, this May pick by Mingod is super smart, trying to hold them off, trying to give them some space to do something. But, I mean...
That was an optimistic shatter if I've ever seen one. Jump straight through the team. Godhander, they're just going to take this happy gift, walk on over to A. This is about to be a scary time bank heading into B, Harmony.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of time for Godhand to do whatever they really want to do. I mean, their altar is building quick. You're going to have Bob. You're going to have Gravitic Flux. I mean, knowing Rocket, he's going to have Blade in 10 seconds in the next fight anyways. You have High Noon with Void. You have Blizzard. Maybe try and do something there. You have Window coming to these next fights. But, I mean, that's a lot of time. Almost 6 minutes. 6 minutes to let Godhand figure out a weakness in. I mean, that's too much time. If you're Ghostly Peppers, you got to figure out the best stall and hold strategy of your life right now.
Oh, it was such a good rotation from Ghostly Peppers, but the wall doesn't connect. That leaves them open to the Wolves now. The Bob, the Blade. We talked about the ultimates coming into this fight. We talked about how deadly they were, and it looks like Godhand are going to clean up B, send themselves on into an OT with more time than they started off with. This is brutality, Harmony.
Wow. I mean, it's not very often that you see a team walk into overtime with more time than they started with. That's just how Godhand works. They're a force to be reckoned with. And if you're Ghostly Peppers, you have to do some quick recon and figure out what went wrong in those two fights. How do you counter it? If there's even a way to counter it, and what you got to do moving forward in this next series, because that's a lot. That is a daunting amount of time. I don't know what you need. You need a strong tank line. You need something to happen. Maybe more. I mean, it's really just about hitting your ults. If you hit a shatter there, maybe they get stunted. But wow, that is a force to be reckoned with. I expect nothing else from Godhand going into this. They're just going to walk on in, take what's theirs, and see what they can do.
I mean, I think what Ghostly Peppers need is like an Air Bud level pep talk. You know, someone's got to come in and just the you can do it talk is exactly what they need here. Coming up, a lot more standard double shield. However, the big question is you've been avoiding running it up until now. How comfortable are you on this pick actually? I think it does give them better odds if they can pull off a Halt combos. You mentioned the tank synergy, you mentioned HQC needing to pop off. This is the opportunity for the Orisa to do exactly that.
Yeah, that's what you need right there. But the thing you also need right there is to not lose your immortality field early. Smirk has to be very, very particular about when he wants to use that. If you lose that too early, the fight's over, and then I still have his, and it'll just be a snowball from that point. So Smirk is the key. If you lose that immortality field early, it's going to be a rough day.
Oh my god, this is a teleport. This is a play from God. This is a statement of aggression. This is, we are better than you. We will run whatever the hell we want, whenever the hell we want. Rocket on the Bastion, and it doesn't make a difference. The damage this team pumps out is unstoppable. They're going to take themselves a take. They're going to set themselves up at match point and to win this preseason tournament.
Victory.
Wow. I mean, that's something. I mean, not very often do you see a Bastion, but I mean, when you do, it has to be right. And Rocket made it right. I mean, Rocket was a force on the Genji, but that was, beautiful.
No, I'm trying to think of anything Godhand can do wrong. Oh my god. The deflect fire strike. It's too gross. I can't look at it anymore, Giant. It's too much. Whether it's Rocket or Mini on the Genji, the hero is just just give me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies. And Marth gets the 69% kill participation. That's as nice as it gets. Dude, I don't know what the team can actually do to improve. And you know what? A little birdie told me that Bray used to be on this roster, which is even more insane because I'm looking up, I'm like, my tank line is Marth, Andy, and Bray. Who do you even field at that point? I just throw in any combination of this. You just gotta roll the dice and you're probably gonna win your game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you do on the side of, I mean, Ghostly Peppers or Godhand. They're a stacked team. It's just, it's unreal. I mean, you looking at this, I thought it was going to be, even fight. We're going to go to a couple overtimes, but it seems like Godhand's just running away with the game. So it's wild. Like, I don't understand it, but I approve of it. I mean, with or without Bray, it seems like they have no issues. And I mean, even with Ghostly Peppers, you lose Smugs, which may or may not have helped you, but I still think that Ghostly Peppers can look at this and go, how do we go into this? I mean, what do you do? If you're Ghostly Peppers going into these next fights, who do you focus on? Do you focus on Mini and Rocket to be a force? Do you focus on Marth trying not to destroy you up front? I mean, does Godhand just have too many options moving forward? Are they just unstoppable, or is there a weakness in there?
I will say, as far as options, I don't know the depth of GDH's hero roster, right? We've seen Doomfist, we've seen Genji, we've seen Ashe, we've seen Orisa, Sigma, and Reinhardt. And then it's pretty much been, I think, the Baptiste Brigitte the entire time from them. So if Ghostly Peppers maybe want to force them off somewhere where they have to run something like a dive, maybe things get a little bit more loosey-goosey there. You can start to find those areas to poke and prod at. And I think Ghostly Peppers is a team that can bring this back. And it's don't get me wrong, it's a very, very difficult situation to be in and very hard to pull back. But these players are experienced. Literally every single one of them is just like MVP, All-Star, MVP, All-Star, Champion, Finalist. Like, these guys know the pressure of these situations. They've been in them before. They've brought them back. Void Kit had the run back last season in Discord. I mean, they've been here. They've been under this pressure. They felt what it's like to lose and come back. They just need to be able to harness that on the biggest stage right now as we're heading into Eichenwald.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. You have Eichenwald, which has a lot of points. It's a very defensive-heavy map, so you're going to have to try something new. You're going to have to put a lot of pressure early. We haven't been able to see how teams do on Escort-esque matches. Hybrid matches, but still. I don't know if you switch anything up here, if you try and just go, let's have a mirror match. Let's do a True Testament. The lucky thing about these two teams is that this is preseason. So you kind of get a taste for each other. I mean, you get to see Godhand early on go, okay, this is what they're used to. So you can take this information moving on. But I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, you got to find something. You got to try something new. I mean, if it doesn't work, I mean, you got to keep going. And I think that this matchup you have here with Godhand picking basically the standard meta pick that they had last time is a huge, I mean, they're comfortable on it. They know what they're going to do. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Void and Mingod running a Soldier Widow combination. It'd be kind of fun to watch, a little something different, but I mean, I don't know if they're going to stick with that. But I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, try anything you want right now. See what works, see what doesn't work. I mean, if something crazy happens, awesome. Take it and run with it.
Defend objective A.
Oh, hey, and a miss. It was a good try. I gotta respect it, but what do they rock with this? Is my big question. I suppose an Ash. Yep, double shield versus double shield. Not going to reflect the hull here, but not much damage being thrown their way. Is Marfa's back on that signature Winston. One pick down on a Void Kit. Ghostly Peppers, they got to press on the brakes. I would have loved to see them just wait for the Ash to get there. A little bit of impatience is going to matter a ton.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be wary. You have to group up as a team. You have to play together in this, and especially in this meta composition with the double shield. If one person gets, taken down, the rest of the team is at a disadvantage, a huge disadvantage. And I mean, Godhand has too many weapons going with them. They can just go anywhere they want. With Marf on that Winston, it's just a little bit different, but it's something you have to worry about. You have to worry about the DPS getting into your backline with Rocket and Mini doing all that they can, but Marf is becoming a force in all these fights.
It's getting harder and harder to deal with the Winston, but they've dealt with the Winston. That's it. Immortality Field is out for Godhand, so is Ghostly Peppers, I believe. Coming into this fight, this is as even standing as they've gotten. Now with the Amplification Matrix, they can really start putting in the hurt. Mingod pumping damage out through that, going to be taking down Rocket, throwing in the Bob. It's just desperation here from Mini, but it's not enough to clean up the fight. As finally, Mingod is coming up in the kill feed, cleaning things up, and making a real name for the Peppers.
Yeah, I mean, but Marf is gonna. I mean, at this point, I thought they would have tried and done anything to not let them get the point, but Marf tried all he could. But going to this next fight, I mean, you're gonna have Blade, you're gonna have Bongo Blade on the side of, sorry, Ghostly Peppers, and maybe you can combine it with Gravitic Flux if you really want to get a clean sweep of everyone. So I mean, Godhand has to be wary of that. You have Enrage to get people off, you have Bongos, you don't really have any DPS to build, so I think Ghostly Peppers has a huge ult advantage going into this next couple of fights if they can combine them correctly.
Yep, and it's all about maintaining that ultimate advantage. In this double shield matchup, being efficient with your ultimates, using as few to end these fights as possible is so key. So Ghostly Peppers, what they have in this next fight is the Super Blade. The Bongo Blade combo can do so much damage. It's all on the back of Void Kit, though. This Season 4 MVP needs to pop off, needs to find this massive blade when he goes in. Is he gonna go in, though, is the big question. Sitting on the sidelines just waiting for something to happen. But in the meantime, Mark's gonna start cleaning up his team, force out the Immortality Field. Now that's the key for Godhand to just go in. Ice Drop's extremely low. Immortality Field now out. That's a ticket. Now Void Kit feels comfortable running straight into that backline, taking down the Vegeta with the help of the Gravitic Flux from Telmakin. They make their way through point B at a very quick pace.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need to do right there. You have all of your ults, you combine them correctly. It looked a little bleak, but Ghostly Peppers held on to it. But going into this next fight, I mean, it's going to be basically the same thing going against them. I expect an early rally on the side of boredom. You're going to have, Bongo Blade. You're going to have Bob Bongo. It's going to be high DPS going into this next fight if they can use it correctly.
Well, using it correctly is one thing. Immortality Field's been forced off. So has Rocket. Finally dashes in. Immortality Field now gone. He can start cleaning things up. And this is Godhand with a very comfortable ultimate advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you can see right there, Godhand held on to Rally. They held on the window. They held out the Bob. They're trying to keep things on their side. You really only have window on the side of Ghostly Peppers. So Godhand, while Ghostly Peppers got a lot of push, Godhand has a lot of ult advantage going into this next fight. Even still, I thought they were going to use more, but they didn't. They held on to it. They played it smart. They used what they needed. So good on them for keeping it strong.
Yeah, Ghostly Peppers, it's either a dry fight or you just pray for a pick with this Amp Matrix. It seems like they might want to be doing the latter here. Great hold into all the damage by HQC. The follow-up is there, but Mars and all the damage of Godhand is just too much with the Rally Armor, with the Amplification Matrix, with the Bob. They just had that ultimate advantage that we talked about prior.
You love to see HQC taunting the Rocket there and saying, nope, I'll just take my leave when I can. Looking into this next fight, you have Gravitic Flux by Marf, so that's going to be huge to use. You can combo it with the Blade. It's not ideal, but it's something. I mean, you have Bongo Blade coming up on the side of Ghostly Peppers. That's huge. That's a huge ult advantage going into this if you can use it correctly. You're going to have Bob, too. So you have a lot of DPS going into this, but you need to not let them get killed.
There's also the Gravitic Flux to try and peel away this Blade from Void Kit, but they haven't made any attempt to. The card's going to start moving forward here, Harmony, and this is where things get dicey for Godhand.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Godhand, you got to come out, you got to press Q, you got to push them off. They have 3 minutes, so they still have Bob to keep you pressured. They have Gravitic Flux to combo with it. I mean, Rocket has to come out and do anything they possibly can using that Blade.
Well, it's a great halt into Gravitic Flux combo that they have, but this Bob is doing a fantastic job of peeling away Rocket, who goes down. That Blade combo that you mentioned is not there anymore. They don't have that option. They have to clutch this one out the old-fashioned way. Just primary fires online. Ghostly Pepper's coming in. The rally's going to give him so much more sustain to try and finish off this map. I feel like we might be staring at a Tranquility special as Ghostly Peppers set themselves up to try and make the comeback.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostly Peppers held on to the pressure and they didn't give up. It looked like they lost a couple fights there, but they knew they had time. They knew they could catch a breath. Godhand got a little bit, beside themselves. That first point, it seemed like they weren't playing like they usually play. I don't know if they got a little confident, kind of got a little relaxed. I expect Godhand to come out here on attack and just go, all right, that was enough. Let's get back to what we're used to. Let's get this first point secured, and let's keep things moving forward. So I expect Godhand to put on the pressure early and fast. I don't know what exactly they're going to do. If they're going to keep sticking with this double shield, Ashe, Genji meta, or if they're going to try something else just to, blow them up. But, I mean, good on Ghostly Peppers right there to keep things moving, keep things fighting. Lose a couple fights here and there, give up a couple ult advantage, but put the pressure on and keep it on when you need to.
Ready for battle.
You know what? I don't know what brand of big boy pants you can put on, though, to make up for a 2-minute, 37-second time bank coming out of Eichenwald. That is just insane from the Ghostly Peppers. And we talked about it. These guys are completely familiar with this pressure. This is effectively their comfort zone. Comebacks are a thing of the past in Tranquility. We just call them regular matches at this point. In Ghostly Peppers, they know that. They're feeling all right. I'm sure their comms are perfectly fine. It's a situation they've all been in before. I think the real pressure's on Godhand right now. You don't want to be the team that gets reverse swept, and losing Eichenwald would be not the good start that they were looking for to that.
No, not one bit. So if you're Godhand, you got to pull something out. You got to try maybe something different they haven't seen before. So I expect something crazy. The Symmetra May is
oh my god,
is already there.
Oh, they're up in, they're over the top. They've got position on the point here. Marth is in very, very deep here. Maybe getting punished. Immortality Field's been forced out. The Reinhardt's extremely low. The Dynamite connects over top. God picked off first, though. Andy's opening his points up right. Ghostly Peppers are not grouped together to try and recontest it. They don't have tank to stand in the way. They've only got the one shield, but they can't find the kills to back it up. Voidkit still trying to pop off on the Genji, but just doesn't have enough damage to clean up any of the players of Godhand who are going to inevitably take over A.
So you wanted something crazy, you wanted something fast? Teleport over the top of everyone and just charge in his Rhine. I mean, you can't ask for much more on a first point if you're on the side of Godhand. Oh my god.
This is looking not great for Ghostly Peppers, but they've set themselves up already. They've done a lot of the hard work. I want to see them stop this here, though.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostly Peppers went, all right, we can breathe. We have a couple ults coming in. You have Blade. They have the Widow to try and get off a couple picks. I mean, Mini switched to the Widow too, so it should be kind of an interesting battle. Maybe a couple sneaky picks here and there. I love this play right now. I love that they're kind of not playing the same thing as they were before. I mean, you have to worry about Rocket with having Blizzard. You already have the window, so I expect some sort of combination there. But you got to be wary anywhere and everywhere on the side of both teams.
Right now, though, it's Mingod with the sideline and with the dome. My god, a Searcher dominance already. Mini goes down looking to clean up the support there. One by one, they fall to the Widowmaker of Mingod, who is completely dismantled this Godhand roster.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Mingod, you're excited right there. You're building ult. You're gonna have sights here soon, but I mean, don't be discouraged. On the side of Godhand, you have both tank ults. You're gonna have Blizzard. They have a lot to combo right there. So if at all,
no one can hide.
If Ghostly Peppers gets off this high point, it's gonna be a battle. So I don't count Godhand out yet quite. Mingod got a couple good picks here and there, but you have Bongo. You have Window, but it's not. I don't know if it's going to be enough to combo against the force that is Godhand coming into this fight.
I love this wrapping them as well. It gets the Reinhardt in, but it welcomes them straight into this Amplification Matrix. It's going to be a couple seconds off by the side, buys you a little bit of time. HQC? This is a questionable play. Straight into the Shatter, blocks it with the Fortify here, but the Blizzard to follow up is beautiful. And what a great plan by Rocket. Bait him in, give him the ice, and finish him off.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Godhand, that was a great use of your ults. You're going to come back. You're going to have beat to counter anything to go against it. Probably to counter the Gravitic Flux there by Telm. So, I mean, Godhand felt confident. They got a lot of pressure going forward. Godhand has to keep the pressure on, though. You can't give up a lot of damage. You have to get to this next point as fast as you possibly can.
Well, starting off by dodging the Flux is one way of doing it. It catches absolutely nobody. They don't have to use a sound barrier. Boredom still has it in line. Mini's making a lot of space and reasserting himself over Mingod as this cart is taking a leisurely stroll on to the end of point B.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Mini, you're like, all right, if you can pick off a couple people, I can pick off a couple people. Let me show you how it's done. And I think Mini right there was smart on the play. Oh no, they had the reflected Fire Strike. You wish you could see it do as much as Rocket could do with it. But going to it, you have beat to counter some ultimates, especially to counter this blade that I expect Void to come in here with. Needle building that ult charge too, so I expect a rally to be defensive as well. I mean, Marv has to do something with this Shatter, and I expect something big.
Needs to connect. Boredom still has a sound barrier online to finish things off. The Shatter doesn't find anybody. It forces out Immortality Field, though. Amplification Matrix time here from Godhand. How much damage can they throw through it is a big question. Plenty, says Mini, who takes off Mingod's head, followed by Telmakin. Voidkid trying to clutch things out. Needs the Blade to be big to do much of anything, but they've used Rally. They've used Blade. They've used everything in their tank. They'll be coming in with Amplification Matrix. The tank respawns are online, but they use their Bongo to get out. Ice Falls, though, that's a lot of the sustain now gone. If only they could contest the cart here. It's so close. But Mingod comes in and gets one more. Voidkid cleaning up Andy. The Reinhardt thins. So is the Blizzard, though, as things get extremely icy here. With the Ghostly Peppers, who are desperately trying to recontest this cart at the end of point C.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, I mean, tell them getting a couple of kills right there helps you out, but it's pressure on everything. You have to catch your breath. You have to get a couple kills, push them back. If you're Godhand, you're coming in. You gotta breathe. You have Bongos coming in. Mini switched off to the Ashe, was a huge thing. Rocket switched back to the Genji. So you kind of catch your breath. You realize Void on the junk, though. I mean, break some shields, do something to help Mingod get some picks. I kind of like it.
Hey, well, PDK's in the chat. Give this man your energy. He needs everything he can get. Mingod's helping him out a little bit, though, taking down Mini. Now with that Nash, this push has no legs to stand on. There just is a lack of damage from Godhand. They're not going to be able to finish off anything because you no longer have that Viper rifle to end things. Meanwhile, Mingod is doing what he seems to just do non-stop on the Widowmaker.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Mingod, you have to be really confident going to these fights, and that's exactly what you have to do. If you're Godhand, I don't know what you have to. I mean, Marv has to land a huge shatter going to this fight to get off a couple of these DPS. You have to pressure him. You have to get in there. But Void is just causing a ruckus, destroying shields, becoming a distraction, while Mingod is just cleaning up house the rest of the way.
Yeah,
so,
against the Reinhardt, the Junkrat makes things extremely dicey for him to actually get in. You see Mark trying to close the distance, but he's already down to 1 HP. Dropped so low, but the Shatter was all worth it. Great Immortality Field to keep him alive and Matrix to follow up. Things are desperate. They need Mingod to come up in this kill feed right here, right now. The Rocket's going to be finishing him off, sending this cart sailing towards the end of point C. Ghosty Peppers may not even get a contest here as it rolls over, and we're playing round 2 of Eichenwald, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostly Peppers held on with all their might. I mean, they have a 40-second, differential, so that's a lot of time. 40 seconds is at least one more fight. So I think if you're Ghostly Peppers, you're feeling confident, you got some things going, you realize that a Junkrat might be the linchpin going into this next fight. I mean, it worked. It caused a distraction. It caused some pressure. It caused a lot of damage to be dealt while Mingod kind of cleaned everything else up, picking off your DPS, picking off your support line. So if you're Godhand, you got to kind of respect their DPS. You can't just run them over anymore. If you're Godhand, I mean, do you go with the same teleporter strat? Do you just kind of run down main? You only have 2 minutes, so it's not a lot of time moving into this next fight. I expect them to hold. I expect them to fight with everything they have, be a little bit more confident, and I'm interested to see if they change anything up, or if they're just going to try and go meta into meta.
Yeah, you want a better hold. I'm going to be a little bit more specific with that. I think the team that pulls off the better point A hold here easily takes the map. So much of that push was dictated by both teams taking A early and then continuing that momentum on. I need to see a stronger defense. I think a lot of that starts off with these Ashes. Mini and Mingod are the players to keep your eyes on. The Dynamites are going to matter so much for how much space they're actually able to give their team.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be clutch. If you get those Halt Dynamite combinations together, it's deadly. But Voidkid on that Junkrat, you have to watch out. That's a lot of damage output coming in. It may cause Smirk to use Immortality Field too early, which is a huge key into this meta fight.
The Junkrat worked for him prior, will it work for him now? I love that they make the swaps though. They're willing to get away from that Genji matchup. They just weren't winning it. This is so much more effective. But again, Rocket falls early here, and Ghostly Peppers are going to put on the first defense of point A that I'm pretty sure we've seen all night.
Yeah, I mean, good on Ghostly Peppers getting rid of Rocket, which is a huge carry on the side of Godhand. building up their ults, trying to keep this fight even. It's going to be interesting. It's a lot of back and forth. No one's really giving up. I mean, if you're Voidkit, you're just having a field day just launching bombs into them and not having anything to contest against. He's going to have ult going to this next fight. It's going to be pressure. You have nothing really to contest to get it. You have to figure out a way to get rid of Voidkit into this next fight, or I expect a huge tire to come in for them.
Either way, it's not looking as great for Godhand as it once was. Ghostly Peppers have figured out the defense. They only need a little bit more time before they can get in here. The health bars are low. The immortality field has not been used from Ice. The ball is on this man to just hold on to that cooldown until the absolute last moment. They know that Riptire is going to be online here in just a moment. However, the damage boosted mine are very, very hard to deal with through the amplification matrix. Things are getting tense here as both teams line up outside the point. Marth, the first man to run forward. Great halt combo into the Swift Strike into the Dynamite. A lot of damage being thrown the way of Ghostly Peppers. Things are starting to come to a head, but so is Voidkit with the tire. Catches out Rocket. Takes down the start EPS. Immortality Field has been forced out of Ghostly Peppers, who are trying to move forward, but it's into the Griffinic Flux they go. The Petite's taken down. Caught in the Junkrat Trap post death. Ghostly Peppers stabilized with the help of Smirk on the DPS. As time takes over, Godhand, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to take over A.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostly Peppers held with everything they possibly could right there. I mean, I think the biggest key in these fights, you got rid of Rocket early. You know Rocket is a huge problem on Genji. You get rid of him early on in the fight. It's one less problem you have to deal with. Good on Ghostly Peppers to hold. And now you all you have to do is 2.5 minutes to push. So, I mean, looking ahead of it, I think they have it in them. They proved that they could last time. They weren't nearly as fast as Godhand was on their first push. But, I mean, now you're confident. If you're Godhand, you got to be thinking to try and counter that Junkrat or, I mean, something. Either that or they're feeling confident. They're like, you know what? We're going to pick the double shield meta. We're going to pick what we know works. And we're just going to play as a team, breathe, and get into this. So I think Marth has been playing that Sigma. I expect him maybe to go back to that Winston, get a lot more damage output, try and be a little bit more of a distraction. It's been working for him, so it should be interesting.
Wow, 20% rebate on laptops. That's pretty good. Producer said, yeah, I know, right? In my ear. Anyways, that's a nice deal. Anyways, Ghostly Peppers have themselves a pretty nice deal here. You don't even have to get this. You've got yourself a draw. It's not comfortable. You're still at match point. You still have to bring this one back. Your work is far, and I mean far from done, but look at Ming God. How long does the Widowmaker stay here is my question. We saw the jump shot last time. Does he go for it again? Does he go for the swap? What do you think is the best choice of options here?
I think Mingod stays on it the whole time. I think Void's doing a good enough job distracting them that I think Mingod feels confident just to hold on to it and keep getting picks where he can.
Oh, all right. Looks like he's gonna hop back over onto the Ashe. And honestly, I love the damage spam here from Ghostly Peppers. Do not be going in. They did this last time. They got punished. They went in with 5, and they had so much less damage. The Junkrat makes it a little bit different, but your shields are getting taken down. You don't have the Ashe with you quite yet. However, they have managed to move forward. It was a very risky move, but they were allowed to do it. Now they just need to look out for Rocket here in the sidelines. Smirk's already up 66% to an application matrix. That's the kind of thing that can make a difference when you have a Junkrat and an Ashe on your side. Rocket taken low. Immortality Field's been forced out of the Ghostly Peppers here. And it is just a matter of time before Godhand step on the gas pedal and go for the engage. They do. Immortality Field's out though. So's the application matrix. Oh, the damage being thrown the way of Godhand. The fight started out beautifully here for Ghostly Peppers. But Mini is still alive on the Ashe. There is still a chance whenever this man's up. Rocket doing their darndest to try and clean this one up. But the Ashe can't touch the point in time. Ghostly Peppers aren't done with this one yet. They're not going out without a fight. 2-1. They're starting to bring it back.
Yeah, on the side of Ghostly Peppers, I mean, it looked a little bleak there. They came in, they pressured, they used their ults in the best way they possibly could. They had a good fight, they stayed with it. You kind of have to be worried about Rocket and Mini being last there, but I mean, it was a solid push overall. I mean, good on Ghostly Peppers to not give up, to say, you know what, at worst, let's just draw this, keep things moving, but they take it 2-1. I mean, moving into this next map, that's confidence. That's a huge momentum shift. Going in 2-0, Godhand had everything to take it and run away with it. Ghostly Peppers is coming in, kind of building some confidence, thinking, we're not out of it. Maybe we reverse sweep. Maybe we come in and win 3. Who knows? We already showed that they can win 1. They already showed that the Junkrat Ashe combination is too much DPS to deal with. And they can't really get rid of Voidkit. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see.
Well, it'll be interesting to see in just a moment, ladies and gents. We're going to take it to a quick little 5-minute halftime. Godhand still at match point. But Ghostly Peppers, I saw those polls in chat. I know you guys believe in this comeback. They're not done yet, though. They're going to need some more of your guys' energy. So get charged up, get some water, get some fruit snacks, and be ready because we'll be back in just a bit.
Above the stars, I am so free. I see the truth, but the view is all I am. It's all I do. I feel as if my only friend is my guitar. The best thing for a happy dog.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We promised a quick little break. I got some lemonade. I know the players got some drinks. There's a little bit of trash talk going on in chat, but what do you expect from these guys in a game this good? Ghostly Peppers are stirring up a little bit of heat, aren't they, Giant?
Yeah, I mean, they're stirring something up, and I'm excited to see what happens. They're coming back. I mean, could we see the reverse sweep? Kind of want to see it. I mean, it's kind of a specialty we have here at Tranquility, and and I hope something crazy happens. They got a little bit of confidence going to these next series. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. So I mean, Ghostly Peppers knows exactly what they did right in those last couple fights, and it seems like Guardhand kind of has to counter them now, knowing that Voidkey can pull out that Junkrat, knowing that Mingod can pull out that Widow or Ashe for that matter. So you kind of have to realize that the DPS line on both sides is a huge pivotal members, whatever, on each team, and you have to be wary of that going into each and every fight.
Yep, they've got this reverse sweep started, but it's not nearly done yet. There's another thing that Tranquility is known for. Yes, we've got a lot of reverse sweeps here. Yes, we've got a lot of underdog stories, but we got to talk about the classic Tranquility 3-1 harmony. That's the big hurdle that Ghostly Peppers need to pass. I think if they can take this Dorado, that's when we start talking about this. However, big hurdle up ahead in those DPS lineups. What are you expecting to see here?
I mean, I expect something interesting to happen. I think Mini and Rocket are going to stay on that Genji Ashe combination, stick with the meta. It's been working for them. They've been doing a lot of damage output. If you're on the side of Ghostly Peppers, I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of, I mean, you're probably going to see a Widow. There's a good couple first points here where Widow is pivotal. You can get high ground really fast. But Void hasn't gotten off that Bastion yet, and I expect him to either switch to a Genji or probably the Junkrat just to deal with the double shield meta that's going on right now. But I mean, if you're going to stick Bastion, play Bastion. See what happens. Do something crazy.
Do it, coward. Oh my god, they're gonna do it. They're actually going to do it. Is it bad that I'm like halfway not surprised by this? I don't even think it's a bad pick either. I think this is a really good opportunity. However, getting halted off cart is a very, very scary proposition. They need to make sure that they're doing as much as they can to help Void get out here. Because remember, you're running the Baptiste, you're running the Brigitte. You don't have the focused healing of something like an Ana, like a Mercy. The Dynamites are all going to connect onto this man. He needs all the help he can get. Great block there by Telmakin onto the Accretion. As long as they keep putting up that Sigma Shield onto the high ground, onto the off angle, stopping the damage from coming in, they will continue forward. They've already made it through the first choke here. The hard part's almost over. Waiting for the first engage. The Dynamite, of course, going to connect every time. Accretion into the back of the Bastion, gets himself reset up. Rocket drops incredibly low here. Great immortality field to keep him alive. The tanks are falling for Godhand, and they did not see this one coming. They weren't prepared for it as Ghostly Peppers tear through the streets of Dorado.
I mean, Ghostly Peppers did exactly what they wanted to do. They came in, they surprised them. They got through a really tough first point on that bridge. That choke is usually pretty tough to get through for most teams. I mean, Voidkit's gonna have you're gonna have Window, which is a huge combination. Even if you just Window and sit in turret form, that's a lot of damage getting brought out. I mean, you have Gravitic Flux on the side of Godhand. You're gonna have Bob to combo with it. So there's some things that they can do to counter it. But you got to be wary. You got to get a couple picks. You have to really get rid of the tank line to deal with it. Or even, I mean, I think the most important is getting rid of that Smirk on Baptiste. That AoE healing is huge to deal with.
Well, good halt. Bastion already moving out of position. Getting off the cart and away from the high ground is #1 priority. Now Rocket's gone, though. There's nobody to dive this. Immortality field's been forced out. Things are already getting dicey here for Godhand. It's Ghostly Peppers. This pirate ship doesn't have brakes.
They don't know what to do. I mean, if you're Godhand, I don't exactly know what you do to counter this. I mean, play smart, play what you know, but you give up a lot of time. You have 4.5 minutes and you're already almost to the second point being captured.
Love this configuration. Tank as well. He just walks around the amplification matrix with it. Marth, though, he's got the Gravitic Flux. There's nothing you can stop that from connecting onto your Bastion. Godhand are finally going to put the stop to it. But Ghostly Peppers, they've made so much progress with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Godhand, you got to go, okay, breathe. We have Blade. We're going to have Bongos going into this next fight. We're going to have a rally to counter anything. I mean, you also have Bongos and Gravitic Flux to come on the other side, so there's a lot of DPS to be dealt. Voidkit switches off the Bastion, which I hate to see. I wish it would have stayed, but sometimes if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Switching onto the Genji is probably a lot smarter. Mingod staying with the Widow. It's going to be interesting. I think you're going to see a definite change going to this next couple of fights. Maybe it's to their disadvantage if you're the side of Ghostly Peppers. Maybe that little shifted Bastion gave you the up because they didn't know how to counter it right away if you're God Hand.
Yeah, getting that Bastion on cart, though, would have been a non-trivial task. So the swap was effectively forced here. Mingod, though, on the Widowmaker is a forced pick that I really, really don't like. The DPS are controlling the high ground beautifully here from Godhead, not allowing them to do anything. Coming with that blade that you mentioned, and it's bound to be deadly here. Immortality Field's been forced out, but Voidkid takes him down. Voidkid takes down the other DPS. He's doing it all on his own. Ghostly Peppers have found their way into this fight off of a massive clutch from the Season 4 MVP. Not done yet, though. Godhand still have the spawn, still have the bongo, still have Boredom's Brigitte whipping and whapping people around left and right. Ghostly Peppers, it was a great attempt, but right back to spawn they go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, you were super excited going in the fight. You got rid of Rocket. You got rid of, I mean, basically the blade going to this next fight. I mean, you have Window. You're going to have, you know, Sight through Mingod. Mingod's still sticking with that Widow, not switching over to the Ashe. I think the Ashe would have been a lot better, kind of giving you a lot more DPS output, but, I mean, Mingod thinks he can get some picks, and if they can, they can. I mean, Marv has Gravitic Flux. Maybe use it sparingly. You don't have anything to combo with it quite yet. Probably build up that Bob first if you're Mini. But I expect this Widow to work out. They got to try something different, and I expect them to use something. I expect a pick to come happen soon.
Well, with both the implication matrices going up, the pick is bound to happen. Gravitic Flux as well. It's everything in the kitchen sink here from Godhand. They're going to make it worth, but it did cost him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, try as you might, it seems like Godhand kind of figured their things out. They have Bob now to use. Using the Gravitic Flux was smart, even if you didn't combo it with anything. It gets rid of a lot of damage. It keeps him up. Voidkit having Blade is a presence. And I think Voidkit having Blade is huge going into this next fight. Maybe the early rally to give you some health and go in with the Blade. Something crazy, maybe sidelines to see where everyone is. Those two DPS ults on the side of Ghostly Peppers is huge to the only one with Bob on the side of Godhand. I expect Ghostly Peppers to try an interesting combination going into this fight. Try something different, and I mean, it should be fun.
Well, starting off with the visor here, Mingod has to find a kill, I think. Either that or this blade from Voidkit needs to be huge, but he's trying to dice his way through. Godhand's completely stopping him up, though. Great deflect, takes down Boredom, takes down one more. Ghostly Peppers are looking to clean up this fight. They just need to get this Baptiste out of the way. Take away those main heals, take away the sustain, and then you can start progressing this card.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostly Peppers used what they could there. They comboed everything correctly. You're going to have both tank ultimates going to this next fight. You have 2.5 minutes to push the rest of the way. That's enough time to get something, you know, there's a lot of good chokes here. Not as much high ground as you would like to see on the side of Mingod or on the side of Mini. But, I mean, Andy's going to have Bongo. You're going to have Bongo Blade. You're going to have Rally. You're building Window to really only Bongo and Gravitic Flux. So it seems like Godhand has the ult advantage going to this fight, but I mean, anything can happen if you're Ghostly Peppers. They're building a lot of confidence, doing a lot of things right with very few ultimates.
Yeah, Bongo Blade is the thing to watch from Andy and Rocket. The combo potential is huge, but Ghostly Peppers smartly getting aggressive here. Looking to go in early, use their ultimates to end things before the Bongo Blade combo can come out. Rocket does it regardless, though. Gets one with the Blade, takes out the Immortality Field, turns around, swipes down another, and cleans up the fight just when things were getting dicey for Godhand.
Yeah, I mean, things got crazy, things got wild there. All ults were used pretty much on the side, on both sides. The one thing you have to worry about is Marth does have Gravitic Flux. You're going to have Blade on Void, and Void has shown that it doesn't really need a combo with it. You don't need a Bongo. You don't need a Rally. Just go in Blade, use it at the right time. Things are going to get interesting. And you're going to have Smirk with Window, which I expect Mingod to use to poke down the enemy, to poke down Godhand. So it's a very interesting fight. I mean, the ult advantage, I do give it to the side of Ghostly Peppers, but anything could happen.
It's been close so far, but Ghostly Peppers taking a different route. They're contesting the high ground. Yeah, he's the implication matrix beautifully. Voidkit comes in. You said the blade was bound to be vacant. It absolutely will be. Finds himself a third here on the mini. Yes, he will. Matching that of what Rocket did earlier. Cart starting to progress. If you want to get 3 players on that, start cleaning up these stragglers now, because you're at 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, 1 minute is a lot of time, but it's not a lot of time, especially with the spawn advantage that Godhand has. They're going to stick with everyone they have. I thought they were going to contest with maybe some speedsters, but maybe they feel confident switching on the ball smart. So it should be kind of an interesting last fight, couple fights here, if not last fight.
Well, Tumblikin's going to have the Gravitic Flux as long as he doesn't get picked off here. That's the key ultimate you want to see come online. Gets one on the board and takes away some of that sustain. And he has to move forward to stop this card from going. Ghostly Peppers with a beautiful target focus. They're looking to end this one. Rocket up in the sky. The hamster rolling around on the card at the speed of not exactly sound. He's been stopped up by both a Brigitte, and a Sigma here. Card progresses forward. Ghostly Peppers are going to take this one before OT even ticks over on the clock.
I mean, you got to give it to Ghostly Peppers there, keeping the pressure on. You have 18 seconds left, which isn't a lot of time, but they held it. They kept fighting. They didn't really give up. They used their ults in the right way. They kind of built up that confidence. If you're God Hand, I mean, I think you try something cheesy. They started off using Bastion, got all the way through that first choke without even getting touched hardly, mowing you down. If you're God Hand, you feel confident in the way you've been playing, but maybe you try something different. Try and shake things up a little bit. Try and give, you know, a little bit of stimulus back to the side of Ghostly Peppers. I expect maybe a Bastion, maybe a Symmetra, something weird, something wild. You got to throw it out there. I mean, you can see that Ghostly Peppers is a force to be reckoned with on really anything. I mean, you have to be worried about the picks on the side of Mingod and Voidkit, but I mean, Godhand's got to try something new. I expect them to try something interesting. Maybe Mini sticks on the Bastion and just gives it right back to him, or UCF Pharmacy. That's different. That's new. I like it.
I'm not sure. I feel like Ghostly Peppers, if you're prepped for it, you know how to deal with it. You understand its weaknesses. Goddamn. I mean, this is 100% them trying to throw it back in Ghostly Pepper's face right now, and this could end horribly for them.
I mean, it could be. It could be very bad, or it could be exactly what they want. I mean, the Pharmacy is going to be the ultimate distraction. That's a lot of projectile damage coming in on the side of them. You have to deal with the Ashe, though. So, I mean, Mingod's been an absolute ace on the side of, you know, snipers. But, I mean, if you're focused on Rocket, you may not notice Mini's sweeping you and destroying all of your shields with Bastion.
Oh, that concussive blast hurt. Took Telmakin off the high ground here. The Sigma now has to spend time regrouping, pulling away, not harassing the Bastion most importantly. Rocket's taking the side angles, but Ghostly Peppers are dealing with this a little bit better here. They can just hold out the corner. They're going to be feeling pretty all right. They can take the off angle. Smirk needs to be careful. Smirk is in a very, very bad position as this Baptiste gets halted back in. Luckily, though, saved by the rest of his team. As still, no one really wanted to commit to the engage. They want to wait for the halt to land onto Mini or an accretion, literally anything here, but they're not finding much at all. HQC goes down, now no main tank. Marth getting traded out, but the Bastion and the Far both still alive. The Immortality Field's just now been forced out of God Hand, so things are still perfectly fine for them. They're feeling all right. They have so many resources to fall back on.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're God Hand, I mean, you got to feel confident using a Mercy, getting those reses, being smart with it. But, I mean, okay. Wow.
I respect that he went for it. Mingod's going to clean up. And most importantly, the Bastion got taken off the card here. I think that's the number one thing we need to be looking at. Mini's going to have a hard time catching back up to this cart and going back in. Ghostly Peppers can now look for a proper fight. Yes, you're a little staggered out, but you almost have 6. Your mentality field's going to go down. As long as you can keep Smirk alive in the fight, you stand a good chance. You start in the pincer. The Baptiste doing everything with fancy footwork coming out. Use that amplification matrix early. Make sure you get it out before you die. Keep your tanks alive in the meantime. And rely on your DPS to clean up. Mingod comes in on the Widowmaker. The signature pick to clean things up. As Ghostly Peppers stabilized before Godhand were able to in their own defense.
Yeah, I mean, Godhand's doing everything they possibly can. They're using all their ults to try and contest everything, but it seems like Ghostly Peppers can counter pretty much everything that they've thrown at him. You have Barrage, you have Valk going to this fight, so there's a couple huge ultimates going into this. I mean, Voidkit can deflect all he wants, but he only deflects so much, so it should be interesting to see how they deal with it. I expect Mingod to be on this Pharah, trying to get rid of them as soon as they possibly can, because if not, that Barrage...
Look at Rocket, look at Rocket. Rocket's coming in from the back with a Barrage. Oh, but he's been found out. The Widowmaker dropped low here. They know where she is, though. More importantly, now Ghostly Peppers can set up to try and hold on to this defense. Their health bars are a little bit dicey. Smirk's going to be able to take them up just before they actually go for this engage. Godhand, though, of course, have that critical ultimate. The Barrage catches 2, gets deflected back in, takes down Rocket. If they can trade out for the Mercy as well, it's great for Ghostly Peppers, but they can't. Godhand come in, clean up 1, clean up 2, boredom on the Battle Mercy. Up his Pharah yet again. 120 on the clock. Not as good a push from Godhand, but they do make it through A.
I mean, getting a push is getting a push regardless. Oh, Mini showing that they can still play Widow with the best of them. I'm interested to see, I mean, if you're Voidkit, I mean, you got to be worried about pretty much everything here. And, you know, switching off, Rocket switching off of the Bastion onto the Genji is a smart move. Do what you're comfortable with. Now they kind of play a little bit more of a mirror match style, but you're down a couple ultimates. You have, I mean, you have Bongo Blade coming to this next fight. You have Sights. You have Rally to counter pretty much anything. Maybe the Bongo on the other side. So, I mean, Ghostly Peppers is feeling a little confident going into this.
They've got the ultimate advantage, but it's all about execution right now. The timing when they drop down is so important, but the bongo comes out from both sides. This thing's going to get bloody here real quick. Voidkit comes in with the plate. It's completely boosted up by the bongo dropped on the ground. He's going to find himself one, but the damage and the utility pulled out of Godhand was what was really important there for Ghostly Peppers to clean on up.
I think right there what you have to watch out for is, while Voidkit made a presence and did a lot of damage right there, Telm and Needle were, I mean, a huge fight up there. They got rid of people fast. I think you can't, you can't just worry about the DPS line on the side of Ghostly Peppers. You have to worry about every single one of those players, because right now, they're starting to become a solidified unit in every single fight. They're not splitting off like they were at the beginning. They're starting to come together and really fight like a team.
Well, any amount of team play has managed to get Godhand at least this far. Ghostly Peppers, though, have proven that they can individually pop off, come in and clean things up. Mingod's back onto the Widowmaker. This guy cannot decide what hero he wants to play tonight, but he's feeling this sniper right now. You're eyeballing Marth into the back line, though. Going to be ruining those cooldowns here in a moment. Not to mention the fact that Primal Rage is online. Mini's starting to pop off. Immortality Field's been forced out, and Godhand set themselves up to make it on through B. The tanks have moved forward. Telmakin and HQC in a decent position. That is until Marth has something to say about it. Pushes them immediately back out. Godhand take over B, and they're going to be facing down C with just a little bit of time in that bank.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the side of Godhand that you love to see, they're going to have Blade, they're going to have Bongo, they're going to have that crazy combination. Mink switching off the Widow, going to the McCree, which I think is a great move. You get the flash. You kind of deal with that ult in Genji that's going to come out. I think it's smart. You really don't have many ults. You have a rally to try and counter some things. I think Ghostly Peppers needs to hold off, get some picks, build some ults, and try and keep Godhand from snowballing into this next point.
Yeah, Mini also has so much less room to swap or to actually use here. You see, Mingod swaps over to the McCree, and that's for good reason. The tanks are going to take room, give him some room to play with. Rocky comes in with the blade, cleans up a couple more. The cart's going to continue forward here, but that's pretty much all the ultimates that Godhand had in the bank.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Godhand, you're like, cool, we'll use Bongo Blade, we team killed them, we got a lot of time. You have 2 minutes to push into this next point. You have to deal with Bongo Blade on the side of HUC and Voidkit. They're going to have it. That's a huge thing to worry about. I mean, as you can see right there. I mean, Mini having that sight was huge, but Bongo Blade's going to be used and trying to get rid of fast.
They need to find the pick early. Voidkit is very, very low. So is Smirk. Drops Blade early to ensure that they do get the combo off. There's the bongo. There's the damage. And here comes Voidkit. Finds himself a nice 4-piece dinner. Extra sauce. 147 on the clock here. And they're trying to lock Godhand out of this map.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, that's exactly what you want. Answer a team kill with a team kill. Nothing more you can have right there. You have a minute and a half, so you have a push, maybe two coming in. From the side of Godhand, you have Enrage, which is a huge thing to deal with, and you're going to have Rally. Mini switching off to McCree is going to be a good pick to, counter that Genji, and you have Window to deal with. So it should be kind of an interesting battle. I think the Enrage is going to be a huge factor into this. Try and get some damage done. Try and push them off the high ground that they have so perfectly pushed up here.
Oh, you don't have to push them off. They're going to come to you. Andy in a little bit of trouble here underground. Good kinetic grasp by Telmakin's going to be giving a good bit of shield. Mingon connects with this Deadeye. Looking to clean out more. Rock's going to take that one. Voidkit into the back line. Needs to be finding a pick for the rest of his team right here, right now. Otherwise, Mini is going to start cleaning up on the McCree. He's got the high ground. He's got everything to work with. 50 seconds on the clock. The cart barreling towards the end of this map. Ghostly Peppers, they might not get a contest in here, Harmony.
Yeah, I mean, Ghostly Peppers has to do something crazy. Up. And there you have it. A minute 27 to a minute. Whew, that is not a lot of time. That is one push. That is something crazy.
Initiating match.
All right, and we're back. Sorry about the mute. Boost computer decided that this broadcast was not going to go on for the next 30 seconds. We got to restart it, though, and give it a little bit of timeout, and it feels much better to apologize. It feels bad for what it did, and you know what? It wrote a letter to all you guys and your moms. Oh, my God, God hand.
Oh, my God. I love it. Just be a
All
wrecking
right,
ball.
what can they do here? It's all reliant on Rocket's Doomfist. That is the #1 thing you're watching. That first pick matters so much. He takes out Smirk again. It's map 1. PTSD incarnate is this man. Into the back line he goes. Looking to take out the swing, doing a ton of damage. The first point hold is there, but Mingod's traded out for boredom. They've gotten themselves at least 1 for their troubles here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Godhand, that was a perfect. Get rid of the key support, push him back, make him have to try and do something against it. I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, you have to bring the Force into this next, because you're already at a disadvantage losing that first fight. I mean, it's an ult advantage. I mean, Rocket was huge on that, Doomfist. You have to be wary of that. Oh my God.
Immortality Field's out here for Godhand, for Ghostly Peppers. Both of them not working with all that much. Rocket looking to go in on the Doomfist. If he can get 1, he can open things up. The Sigma dropping extremely low. Boy can put in the damage, though, on the Junkrat. 94% to the Riptire. They just need 1 to get in here, but they can't get it online in time. Void Kit's ultimate comes online a little bit too late. Overtime begins to take over both supports on the cart here. Meteor strike in from Rocket. This cart has only made it a little bit of the way through the match. Do they even get another contest? Absolutely not. Say God hand in with a dominant early hold. They come in and try and set themselves up to take the early season tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Godhand right there, Rocket was key. That Doomfist made the huge difference in the fight. Getting picks, putting on pressure. I mean, if you're Ghostly Peppers, do you try and do the same thing? You have to. You have to put pressure on early, because if not, that's not a very far distance to push. 29 meters? I mean, that's little. That's a very little distance to push, and that's all they have to get. I mean, if you're Godhand, you got to pull out all the stops again. Maybe do the same thing. Just come in as a wrecking crew and try and just be a force. Brawl in and just push them back. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a brawl versus a brawl.
No. They're going to go with the Bastion. There's a little bit of high ground that they can utilize here because that cart's never going to progress past that corner. The Bastion set up on the high ground just above it. There's no real way to wrap around the Ghostly Peppers and take advantage of it. I would love to see something like maybe the Mercy with this as opposed to the Brigitte, but I think that even the Brigitte is going to be doing a ton of work. Mingo being on a Widowmaker is kind of a question mark ping. It is a very, very risky pick here with the Bastion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Mingo, you have to be absolutely aces. And Mini playing the Hanzo should be fun to see as well. A different hit scan, so it's going to be a battle of weird combinations moving forward, and I'm excited for everything.
Well, already onto the pulled pork here. They think they know what to do, but the Bastion's on the low ground. Why are they doing this is my big question here. Maybe to stop the rotations from having to come in later. You're going to buy a lot of time off the clock. But look at this. They're going to wrap around. They're going to try and just get over top of the Bastion and drop on top of him. That got dicey here for Void Kit. But just waiting for the cooldown is Marf on the Roadhog. Just need that one little bit to come up. Rocket to the back line. Marf taken down. Timer's getting a little bit low here for Godhands. 50 seconds crosses over the clock. Smirk still alive, still on the high ground. That Immortality Field about halfway from coming up. Rocket constantly poking at this Bastion. Not able to do all that much about it, though, as the heals from Smirk are better than they've ever been. The shields reset up. Ghostly Peppers are back to where they started, and they are feeling good about their odds here. 37 seconds on the clock. Rocket still around the corner, 90%. Amplification Matrix online. The damage is going to be doubled here. So much being thrown in the way of Godhand. But they have the time advantage. Mini's going to be coming up on the Bob. They're going to have the application mix. They're going to have a lot of the tools they need to actually break this one open. And they immediately pop a configuration tank back online here. Dynamite up over top. The Widowmaker tool going on over top. And they need Mingod to find a pick here. They need an opening into the fight. But Void Kit's giving himself away. He's jumped over the shield. He's opened up the doors for Godhand to come in and give them a swift hand of defeat as they push the card over. Give them the classic Tranquility 3-1 and take away the preseason tournament.
Wow, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better finish right there. Void Kit doing as much as he possibly could on that Bastion, even on the ground right there. I mean, that was dire straits for both teams, and you love to see, if you're going to get 3-1, that's what you like to see in your team, just fighting the entire way through. Oh my God, what a fight by both teams.
It doesn't get any closer than that for a 3-1. I mean, Ghostly Peppers, if they started playing like that map 1, I kind of think they just take this whole thing, but it took them that long to get there. Eventually, the desperation sets in. Voidkit, I'm going to give him some extreme style points for going for the rocket boosted shot onto Mini, but it was a little bit too ambitious. Like, he thought he had to be the difference maker, but I think if he just held on a little bit longer, didn't let that anxiety get to him, maybe we'd be looking at another map. Unfortunately, that is not the case. It is Godhand who are going to be your victors for tonight. And you know what? I'm going to say it right now. They absolutely deserve it. These guys have played out of their mind since map 1. Giant, I got to get your thoughts on what these guys have done and go through this whole roster and tell me what you saw each player doing right now.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, if you're looking at Godhand, let's start off with Marv. Marv, either on the Winston on the Sigma, was a force to be reckoned with on tank. Obviously, he was a Season 4 All-Star. You expect nothing less there. I mean, your tank line needs to be solid. And he was hugely pressure playing that tank role as well. Nothing to scoff at. Mini and Rocket, though, on DPS were probably your star players. If one wasn't having a great fight, the other one was. They were right there. They were just balancing each other out throughout that. I mean, Rocket was a huge force on Genji, doing everything he possibly could, but Mini was staying strong with the Ashe, with the Widow, getting picks here and there just to open up the team fights everywhere. So you love to see it on their DPS line. You got Ice, you got Boredom on your support role, keeping everyone alive, holding on to everything as possible. I mean, with Godhand, they are crazy going into this next season.
I think it's the word you're looking at. This team's insane. If I have to pick an MVP here, I think it's Rocket. Like, barely. Mini held it down for some of those middle maps, but opening up the series in such a dominant manner, I think really got into the heads of Ghostly Peppers and gave you an advantage. Going further into that, the Doomfist was always a threat. He closed things out beautifully with the close hold. You mentioned he was going to be the difference maker at the start of the game. I absolutely think he showed up, did exactly what you wanted him to, and we can only commend the man for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can say wrong about how Rocket played or Mini played. If I had to give an MVP, I think I'm going to go the other side of the teams, and I think I'm going to give it to Voidkit. I think Voidkit helped Ghostly Peppers get that win, go into those fights early. I mean, he showed that Genji can be played on both teams. He tried to be a force. He did some cheesy things on Bastion, but they worked. I mean, it's only cheesy if it doesn't work. And I mean, he showed that you can do whatever, play Junkrat, play Bastion, play Genji. Doesn't matter. He's a Swiss Army knife of a DPS player. So I'm excited to see how he grows with Ghostly Peppers going into the season.
And you know what? There's plenty more Overwatch to be played, ladies and gents. We've got more Tranquility broadcasts coming all week that you guys will not want to miss. The preseason tournaments are not done yet. If you want to keep up with all that action, follow the Twitch channel. Follow Overwatch Tranquility on Twitter. Follow Harmony Giant on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'm like 5 followers away from hitting 300. That'd be pretty cool to do. So if you guys want to help me out with that, that would be really, really great for me. Outside of that, though, I don't think I have any more announcements for tonight. So you guys stay tuned for tomorrow's matchup. You won't want to miss it. Have a great night.
See ya.